What's up, guys? Welcome to Fantasy Fact. My name is Guillermo Cusco. I am your host today. Um, this is going to be a short show. I actually have prep to do for tomorrow's show. So just wanted to go over some things that we heard today that I'm excited about, mostly because I think I got them correct, and some things I got incorrect. Let's start off by apologizing for calling Derek Carr Derek Goff. I think I was delirious of how tired I was from yesterday, so it contributed a little bit to some of my speech problems during the show. But here we are, and here we go. We can correct those today. I think that was the only one, but yes, I was talking about Derek Carr. I believe I called him Derek Goff. Funny little tidbit. We're going to take a look at one of my matchups this week. We're going to talk about basically who I'm lined up against, what's going on here. Um, I just had some fillings put in, so this side of my mouth is completely numb. If you see me drinking my coffee weird, now we know why, right? But this matchup I have is interesting in my opinion. It's very close. I believe that the projections list it 115 to 116 basically. We're going to go ahead and run it. All right. What's up, guys? How's everything going? Here's that matchup. As you see, I'm going up against Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going up against Pittsburgh. He's probably going to do very well. Don't have the most favorable matchup at quarterback. Kyler Murray is on my team. He's coming up against Philadelphia. This is rough, but again, after this, I'm expecting smoother sailing for Kyler Murray. I think he's been extremely effective in fantasy. You know, he's scored more than 20 points in 3 out of 4 games. So he's found a way to produce, basically, regardless of the defenses that he's faced, because he has gone up against some potent defenses, right? He's been able to come out on top. We will see he looks against Philadelphia. I'm not super impressed with the defenses that he has faced in the 3 games he had big games in. Kansas City and Las Vegas, not necessarily the most efficient defenses this year. Um, let's get into it. Jamal Williams, somebody I picked up last week, mostly because DeAndre Swift was going to be out. I think this is a great play. I'm looking forward to this matchup because I expect him and him alone to kind of float me here at the running back position. I'm still considering swapping out Najee Harris here, right, with Brees Hall, who I do have on my bench. And I think that mostly I'm just hoping for Keenan Allen to come back into practice. Um, so um, I guess we have Thursday left, Friday, to see if that happens. I don't expect it to happen. I heard today that he was not slated to practice today on Wednesday, so that should be indicative of where we're at with that injury. Um, and I do have some people to replace him with there. You know, I have Chris Olave, and I have Drake London. So those were good pickups, in my opinion, that have been helping me out a lot in terms of production. Uh, Chris Olave comes up against the Seahawks defense that has struggled. The secondary has allowed a lot of points. Might be an interesting play over maybe Drake London. Christian Kirk or Deontay Johnson. Christian Kirk is coming up against the Houston defense. I'm the Houston defense has they're usually good. They're not supposed to. They haven't been as productive as I'm sure they've wanted to, especially recently. But you know, Christian Kirk is Christian Kirk. He is still, in my opinion, the top target in Jacksonville. So no reason to look away from him here. I do have some decisions to make, right? Like, should I play Chris Olave? Should I plug in Brees Hall against the Dolphins over Najee Harris, who's coming up against this much stiffer Buffalo defense? The Dolphins have a strong. They're not weak against the run. That's a better way of putting it. And you know, I think that Brees Hall has the better matchup, and I think that his usage is increased enough to warrant a starter seat. But I want to see if I can have that be more of a flex position for him. Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris both coming up against Buffalo this week. Seattle's secondary is supposed to be good. They haven't been performing the way that they should perform in recent games where we've had massive shootouts, basically involving the Seahawks, right? But I'm interested to see what they do here. Again, the person I'm going up against in this specific matchup is playing a couple of very successful fantasy players. Justin Jefferson coming up against Chicago. He has a good matchup. Jerry Judy's coming up against a secondary in Indianapolis that's supposed to be very talented, right? We haven't seen them stop the ball a lot, but they haven't allowed a lot of touchdowns through the air, if I'm not mistaken. Let's. And overall, they've been impressive. You know, I've been keeping up with the Colts mostly because of Jonathan Taylor. I did draft Jonathan Taylor in one of my leagues. They do have a very talented secondary, so I'd expect them to, you know, break back into it, basically become what they were doing, become who they were last year. Just some things to keep in mind. I think that it's important that we don't just judge the Indianapolis Colts on what they've done so far. I think it's going to be a hard game for them to win without a Jonathan Taylor there. But then again, I do have Michael Pittman Jr. in a couple of other leagues. This might bode well for him, right? Less focus on a run game. Nyheim Hines has a reputation of being used as a pass-catching back. We could see, and Mo Ali Cox, right, coming off of a very big game. We could see a mixture here of usage. They might spread it around a lot more, in my opinion, in this Colts offense without Jonathan Taylor. That was basically the update that I had to give. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm happy we got to go through this matchup together. And yeah, I'm happy to be kind of a little validated. You know, this morning we woke up, even though I was a bit delirious yesterday, we did talk about Jared Goff. We did talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, right? Things that I have been noticing that I'm happy others have been noticing as well. So that, in my opinion, a gauge for success. I would say that if other people that are much more intelligent than me are noticing these kinds of things, then maybe I'm on the right track. Maybe I'm smarter than I thought, or getting smarter as the time goes by. I'm gonna go ahead and thank you guys for listening. Tune in tomorrow. We'll have a week 4 recap before we go into week 5, and we'll lay down some lineup locks and talk about my final lineups. And I'll have finally made a decision here for you guys on whether or not I'm going to put Breece Hall into this lineup. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys, and thanks again for your time.